Hey, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're watching from, wherever you're listening from. I always say that this is Canute Exploration, your topic in a podcast. I'm Dr. Canute White. I will speak into a very special person tonight. As I said, wherever you're listening from, whatever time it is for you. She is a writer. She's an author who has been doing this for a number of years now, and she's a young author. Right, we are going to try to find out what create this sort of impulse within her to write and find out more about her books. And also, there were some challenges as it relates to anxiety. We're going to find out how that blends into her writing and find out some more about her because she's a young girl with a big dream. And, she had accomplished some of her dreams. And she's going to talk to some of the younger generation, younger people about how to continue to strive for what you want to be, who you want to be, because your dreams you can achieve whatever you want to. I'd like to invite Sarah into the studio to talk for a while. Hey, Sarah, how things? How you doing?
I'm good. Hi.
Nice to know. Where are you from? Where are you reaching out from? Which state are you?
I'm from Utah.
Cool, cool. Hey, Sarah, I've read a lot about you. I watched the TV interview, and it's amazing how you have, you know, strive for your dream. You have achieved your dream, and you're going to talk to us about that. But tell us first, who is Sarah? Let's talk about you first. Who are you?
Okay. Well, I'm a writer. That basically sums it up. But I'm 18 and I'm about to graduate high school
Cool.
in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Um, that's basically it. I just
Cool.
love writing. I love stories and fantasy and all things having to do with magic and dragons and I I'm just a nerd and I like music too. I
That's
listen to
cool.
music a lot.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, Sarah, because guess what happened? That speaks to your creativity. And that's what I love about it. Your creativity, your imagination. And that is why you have been writing so well, because of that level of imagination and creativity that goes there. But I know you're may I ask how old are you? Are you do you want to say?
Yeah, I'm 18.
18. All right.
Mhm.
Tell us about your growing up. Your, being 10, 12, tell us about what that was like. Start from there.
Okay, well, I wrote all throughout elementary school, all throughout middle school, like
Wow.
all the way up until now. I started writing when I was like 3, 4, or 5, and then I had access to a computer when I grew a little bit
Cool.
older, so I started typing, and I've just written stories for all my life, and it's something I really enjoy,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
everyone's been great. My family has been supportive about it. All my friends have been supportive about it. It's been amazing, and that's what I've been doing. I've just been constantly coming up with book ideas.
Great. I want to ask you this. I'm an educator. I've been a professor for a while as well, and I understand the. I'm also a psychologist. I understand the whole thing about learning, the psychology of learning, and so on. And you seems to me like a gifted child, so to speak. You're not a child, but gifted child. I just use that loosely. Um, what about your age 3, right? 4. What was that like in terms of intelligence?
Oh, I don't know. My mom
What?
taught me to read when I was really young, when I was 3, so
Okay.
that might have been a part of it. I was reading and I was consuming stories. They were really simple stories, but they were still stories. And then I was thinking, hey, I could write myself. I don't know how to write yet. I can't really hold a pencil,
Right.
so my mom can write everything that I want to say, and then I can just draw the pictures, and those were my first stories.
Cool, cool. And Mummy, tell me about your family, if you care to talk about that. if you
Yeah,
do?
sure.
Yeah.
Well, my parents, they're amazing. One of
Hmm.
them's a math teacher, so I've always been really on top of my grades. They've
Yeah.
cared about that
Cool.
a
Yeah.
lot.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Right.
I have a twin brother and then a younger brother.
Oh, cool, cool. Talking to Sarah, I mean, she's such an amazing person. I just start talking to her and I realize the sort of an intellectual person that she has, and she's a writer. How many books do you have published?
Oh, only one, this
Only
one, but
one.
I've
Oh,
written a whole lot of others that I hope to get published.
okay, cool. How many books do you plan to have published in the next 5 years?
As many as I can write.
Yeah, yeah, and I believe you can get that done. Tell us about that book, though.
Okay, well, it released back in January and it's titled Stone Cold. It's a YA fantasy romance
Right.
about a kingdom where emotion is punished by death,
Yeah.
and the main character has to deal with that and choose between going into a marriage alliance with a kingdom that they're at war at, or
Mm,
a boy that she actually likes, who's her
yeah.
guard. It's a romance and it's a love triangle. I love it.
Cool, 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 cool. Yeah, I love it. What inspires you though to write that book?
Usually the stuff that I write is based on things that I read and watch, and I just take a whole lot of inspiration from stories that I love,
Hmm.
because if you take inspiration from stories that you love writing, and
Yeah.
you love the plot, you love the plot lines that you come up with. So I've always loved dystopian books, books where something that is innately human is taken away from you. So I
Hmm.
wanted to draw on the theme of emotions and not
Okay.
having emotions and
Hmm.
not being able to express yourself properly. And I took
Hmm.
that and put it in a fantasy kingdom. And that's where the book came from.
Oh, that's great. Have you ever read Animal Farm?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, because you know that satire sort of thing that I'm
Yeah.
trying to. It's a great book. What do you think about a book like, as it relates to satire, right? Animal Farm, and other books like those that basically, um, what you call it now, pers- personify the character. Well, animals being used as people. What do you think about that sort of writing skill?
I like them. They're usually very fascinating. I like psychological books, books that make you think. I like the book 1984. That was really good, and it talked about the problems with government and how
Yeah,
controlling people can
yeah,
get,
yeah. That's
stuff like that.
that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
right? Cool. You know the book, Shakespeare. What do you think about Shakespeare? I know, yeah, I
Oh
know.
my
I'll get
gosh.
that laugh from you.
Oh no. Every single English teacher I've ever had has had us do a unit on Shakespeare. So yes, I know Shakespeare. And I like some of the plays.
What's your favorite Shakespeare?
Well, the unit that I just went through, we did the play Much Ado About Nothing,
Okay,
and I
yeah.
liked that one. I also like Twelfth Night.
And Macbeth. I read Macbeth in high school. Yeah, I mean, Shakespearean writing is something else. But tell me though, you had a challenge with anxiety, did you?
Hmm. Yep,
Uh, You want to talk about that for a while?
sure. Basically, I have extreme social anxiety.
Okay, okay.
I'm afraid of talking to people.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
You have
yeah.
overcome that.
I'm doing a
Okay.
podcast right now. I'm talking to people.
You overcome that. And she's talking to Dr. Canute White here and Canute Exploration, your topic in the podcast. Sarah is saying that she has this social anxiety in terms of talking to people, and you listen to her. Okay. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, okay. Well, basically, I just worry a whole lot about what people think of me and what I'm saying. I just have this like this
Yeah,
voice in the back of my head that's always saying, "Hey, people are judging you for what you're
yeah,
saying. You're
yeah,
annoying them, stuff like
yeah.
that." So I was afraid of making phone calls to schedule appointments,
Okay.
or going through drive-throughs. I just didn't want to talk to people and
Yeah.
annoy them and take up their time. Uh,
How have you
that's
overcome
something
that
that,
though? Because you're
yeah, yeah.
eloquent. you're eloquent, and I mean, despite even if you weren't as eloquent as you are, it's okay. I mean, you're expressing your feelings and your needs, and that's cool. But how have you overcome that?
Well, doing this has really helped.
Yeah,
Publishing my book.
yeah,
Authors write because they don't like talking to people. At least from my experience,
yeah,
we express ourselves through
yeah,
words. But writing a book and publishing a book
yeah,
includes a lot of talking to people and marketing and getting your message out.
yeah.
So it was basically trial by fire. I had to learn how to talk to people, and that
Right,
allowed me to get over some of the anxiety. I can do podcasts. I've done a whole lot of
right, and
podcasts
you're
and
doing great.
interviews. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit better. Not quite 100%
Not
solved.
100.
Yeah.
But you're good. You're doing great. And you know, in psychology we have a thing called flooding, as in terms of being afraid of something, you're fearful. But flooding is really a concept of putting you into a room. Take for instance, hypothetically, you're afraid of rats. Putting you into a room with several rats, and just whatever happened just happened, right? So
Mhm.
we flood the fear factor, flood you with the fear factor, and until you just overcome it, right?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
doing these podcasts and so on, and talking to people will help you to overcome that. But that's cool. You're doing well, right?
Thank you.
Um, so you had that social phobia, one of the things, social anxiety, you may, but and you have overcome it through just doing what you need to do, right? Just talk to people and just being there. How do you feel in a restaurant scenario?
Oh boy. Well, I actually work at a restaurant,
Oh,
and
cool.
so when I'm taking someone's order, I'm like, are they gonna get annoyed with me? I'm not very experienced at
Yeah,
this. I'm not very good. What do I do? And at a normal restaurant like drive through or taking orders or
yeah,
something, I have 5 people in my family, so
right.
so I say my order very quickly, don't make any special requests. But then my brothers are like, let's see, can I have this, but without this sauce and without this and without this? And
Yeah.
can I have a drink, but like half root beer and half Sprite?
They ask for what
And
they
I'm like,
want.
yeah, and I'm like, please just stop.
But you see, with that phobia now, what happened is that you don't get what you want. So you have to just release that and just, you know, that's me. And you're doing well. Trust me, you're doing well, Sarah. You're doing
That
well.
that
And
situation still stresses me out. I'm okay with this now, but the restaurant thing still
right,
scares me.
right, right. Your anxiety though, how does it help you in terms of your writing, right? I want to find that out. How it really impact you, and how did you actually um found help, in getting this getting through this?
Well, I've found that writing helps significantly with anxiety, depression, any negative feelings, because I do fantasy. I create worlds and I create adventures
Yeah,
and characters.
yeah,
So whenever I create something that I really like, I can just forget about this world for a while. I can
yeah,
relax. It's comfy. It's safe feeling,
yeah.
and it's something that I think I'm really good at, and it makes me feel amazing. So writing has helped me a lot with
Yeah,
just
yeah,
getting through high school and life.
yeah. Did your writing though start as well? It perhaps didn't start as a journal, but I should ask you: have you been writing journals though, as it
Oh
relates to
yeah.
your anxiety?
Yep.
Okay.
I do journaling too.
Yeah, cool, cool. I read somewhere where you just keep talking about, if I'm watching a show with you, a movie with you, you just keep talking about the plots. I read that. Talk to me about that. Why are you disturbing people when they're watching
Yep.
movies,
Yep.
Sarah?
I do that. I do that a whole lot. It because I've read hundreds upon hundreds of books, and I've watched hundreds upon hundreds of TV shows. So I know what I like, and I know how someone constructs a narrative,
Okay.
and I can. So when
Cool.
it's like when I'm watching a story, I'm like, okay, what can be better? And I do games. Like I was watching an episode of something like literally like right before this podcast, and I was like, okay, let's see.
Right.
The main characters are in an enemy kingdom, and I was saying all this out loud, and my brother was hearing me. Like they're like, okay, the main characters are in an enemy kingdom. The
Mhm.
royal is corrupted. They're probably going to get captured. I say taking bets. They're going to get captured in 5 minutes. No, they got captured in 20 minutes. Wow, I did not think that was going to happen. And and I say all that out loud. Like,
So
wow, that was a really good fight. Ooh, I can sense romance between those two. Oh, I didn't really like that, but oh, that design is so like just
yeah.
all that stuff.
So it means then that you create a problem with people who watching movies with you. They will
Yes.
either walk away or you get into not a literal fight, but hey, what's up? Let me watch this show.
Yeah, I'm at a movie theater and I lean over and say, "Oh, this person is totally going to betray another person," and my brother or my friend beside me is like, "Just shut up, let me watch this movie."
Definitely, and I understand that because some people want to. I believe you're good at it in terms of predicting and understanding the plots and so on. But a lot of people want to just find out for themselves, right?
Yeah,
And that's where the challenge comes in. But that's good for you because I see you as you ever think about writing movies, going to the movie industry.
hmm yep. I love movies a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. So what's your plan for the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself?
Oh, I really hope to publish more books. That would be amazing. I still want to keep writing, and maybe I could get a job as an editor. I don't
Nice.
really know. My
Yeah.
aunt changed her college major 7 times, so my parents
I
don't
know,
really
right?
expect me to figure everything out right now.
I know. I know. It sometimes we know that when you're in high school, you started out wanting to be X, but you end up being why because it's a matter of settling, creating that stability. And your parents usually try to help in terms of making that decision. But the final decision is going to be yours as it relates to your profession later. And I'm sure that you'll make the right choice. And you're leaning towards going into the movie industry and that sort of thing already. So let's see
Yeah,
where it goes.
writing, storytelling,
Right,
acting,
in
whatever.
storytelling and so on.
Yep.
The pandemic, we're still in it. I'm tempted to say that we had gone past it, but we're still in it. Basically, it's narrowing down at this time. But have you written anything as it relates to that? Are you planning and writing about the pandemic so as to leave a legacy? Because you and I we have lived in this pandemic age, and it would be nice if you would leave something for for your next generation, coming. What do you think about doing that?
Uh, well, I haven't written anything specifically about the pandemic, but I have taken a lot of inspiration from issues that are happening here, like
Hmm.
my book that I just barely published. It's like,
Hmm.
again, anxiety, depression, expressing yourself. That's something that a whole lot of people are dealing with, and a whole lot of people are finding that my book helps them with that, which is
Oh yeah.
amazing.
Oh cool.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't usually have any specific theme takeaway for a lot of my books, although I do write dystopian sci-fi stuff like that, but most of them are just fantasy stories that I hope people can enjoy and just
Yeah.
forget about
Yeah.
this world for a while and go into a story.
Cool. Cool. I love that. I love that. Have you ever about cartoons? Have you watched cartoon? Well, I shouldn't ask that because we have all watched cartoons as children, right? But what do you think about cartoons as it relates to teaching children? I'm going to pull you a bit as it relates to setting an example for children. We A lot of people are thinking that cartoons are too violent, and they really are immoral examples for children. What do you think?
Okay, well, cartoons by like the stuff that I watched when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I liked I liked them. I didn't watch like really violent stuff. I watched really fun, wholesome stuff. I watched this show called Wildcrats,
Oh
and
yeah.
that got me into science, biology, animals,
Mm.
and there was this other show called Phineas and Ferb, and that just let me be creative and fun. So a lot of the stuff that I watched when I was younger, it helped me a lot in terms of finding out what I liked and kind of educating me
Mm.
on how the world works. The TV shows that I watch now, I guess a little bit more violent
Yeah. Oh,
than the
okay.
shows that I watched when I was a little kid,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they're still
yeah,
useful
yeah.
because a lot of the characters that I get to see in those TV shows, like I can be inspired by them
Okay.
and what they do and
Hmm.
the themes from those shows. So
Yeah,
I think cartoons are helpful and that it's okay if people watch them.
yeah,
Maybe sometimes they can be a little bit too violent, but for me, I'm careful with what I watch,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah,
usually turns out to be good.
yeah. Science fiction. What do you think about science fiction?
I
The
love science.
Sci-Fi Channel, things like that. What? Talk to me, because you're very imaginative in your approach, right? So science fiction, Sci-Fi Channel. What do you think?
Okay, I love Star Wars. I love Star Trek, if that's
Yeah.
considered sci-fi. Uh, yeah, I basically one of the main things that I love about sci-fi is space
Okay.
exploration, spaceships. I love that stuff. So
Yeah.
Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, just anything having to do with flying ships and
Yeah.
exploring different planets. I love that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah. You're expert. Well, you're building a sort of an expertise here now. At your age, right? And I'm sure that the next 10 years you will be a force to reckon with out there as it relates. No, I'm serious, because of how you're generating the sort of a imaginary approach to fixing problem and so on. Um, how do you think that the expertise that you're building in terms of your imaginary, um, your creativity, your thinking at this point, how do you think that you can use that to solve some of the challenges that the world facing now, be it as it relates to war, be it as it relates to hunger? Talk to me about that.
Maybe. I don't know. I do read a lot of stories, and I find that people can solve problems
Yeah.
through those and take inspiration from those. I haven't really thought about solving world hunger or something like
Yeah.
that. Although my brother's a genius,
Yeah. Yeah.
so he'll probably be off ruling the world somewhere and run and and run with that and probably bankrupt Bill Gates someday. I don't know, but he's amazing. So I've kind of had the mindset of more logical people like him could
Yeah.
maybe deal
Yeah.
with that. I don't know. I do love again science biology,
Right.
so I do have this like backup plan that if writing doesn't work then I could go into conservation and
Okay.
help the environment. That's something that I do really like.
Right, because I was thinking that in terms of food security and so on, and social justice and peace, or you can really use your writing to generate a sort of a change agent, be a change agent for society, right? So
Yeah.
it's something that you can think about, because I write as well, and I believe that writing is really the legacy that we would want to leave, in order to change society, change what's going on around us. No matter what happened, right? We can use our writing as change agents, and I trust that you'll want to do that. But What are the tips that you'd have for young writers, young authors, somebody listening to you here on Canute Exploration, your topic in the podcast, saying, okay, I'd like to be like Sarah. I'd like to start right. I have this imaginary mindset, but I just cannot put it on paper. Talk to them.
Okay, well, you could just a minute, let me think.
Right.
You could develop my strategy, which is basically taking as much reading and storytelling and TV
Yeah.
shows as you possibly can be, and as you possibly can. And it's really funny because sometimes my dad is going up and being like, Sarah, you watched TV for the past 3 hours. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm taking notes.
Really?
So
Okay. Hold on, Sarah. Say that again. Say that again.
okay, so basically, I have a major TV addiction. I love TV a whole lot, and
Okay.
so sometimes I can find myself like upstairs watching TV, and my dad is like, "Sarah, you've watched TV for the past 3 hours. You need to do something." And I'm like, "Yeah, but Dad, I'm taking notes."
Taking
I,
notes. What that
I
means, Sarah? Are you taking notes from what you're watching?
yes, I
Oh,
have a note
interesting.
page
No, that's all right. That's
that's like
okay.
a
I'm just saying,
thousand
right.
pages long of just my thoughts and different plot lines that I can use in my
Hmm.
books and what people are doing right and what they're doing wrong.
I love that.
And yeah, I guess that's another tip that I have for authors.
I love that.
Just find out what works, find out what doesn't. I had to just from the ground up learn the rules of writing
Yeah.
by reading and just taking in stories that sell and stories that people find good.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was like 8 years old, I it hadn't it hadn't come to mind yet that it's a bad way to start a story by not just doing exposition for the first
Yeah.
couple of pages.
Mm.
Like nobody starts a story with my name is so and so. These are how many siblings I have. This is where I live. This is
Right.
the
Right.
plot. And then yeah, so I had to actually learn that by
Mm.
reading other books.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But interesting that you say that though, because I don't. Well, let me ask you this: when you read other books, right? It's important to be critical. That's how we are. When we're intelligent, we tend to criticize a lot of things, right? Do you think that there's some approach that other books use, right? Other authors, sorry, use that you would think that, hey, I don't think this is a good approach. I want to do something different, right? Talk to me about that. Do you criticize the approaches, some of the approaches that authors take?
Yeah, definitely. There are some books that I've come across that I've thought are really bad, and I personally wouldn't have written it
Yeah.
that way. Yeah, it's just I just come across all books that I read. I just think, what would I have done? What are they doing that's right?
Uh,
What is making me feel emotion? What makes this a good
yeah.
story? And just take it from there and try to find the good and bad in everything.
Interesting. Interesting. Sarah, you're a young person. You have a future ahead of you, and you're a thinker, right? Critical thinker. Um, Besides writing, what really are you looking at in terms of a profession? We sort of alluded to that earlier, but I want to ask you, what are some of the other things that you're looking at in terms of your future?
Well, I I don't really know. I have a whole lot of other outlets that I could go through. I really like singing. I could do that. I like science and biology, so I could become a biologist
Yeah,
or a conservationist or an editor or an author. It's just, you know what? It's just whatever I feel like.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I know that I just want to make people happy and make a difference and
yeah,
contribute, and I just like entertaining people and putting a smile on people's faces.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
know for a fact that that's what I would want to do.
Yeah. I'm glad. push you a little bit now because you have to understand the what do you think is the biggest challenge that the world is facing now, and
Right now?
how do you and how do you think
Hmm.
that can be fixed?
Hmm. I think right now people are not being willing to understand each other
Yeah,
and talking it out and just realizing that we are all human beings and we are
right.
all going through hard stuff every single day, and we
Yeah,
shouldn't be quick to judge and we shouldn't be quick to criticize other people. That's
right.
something that I've seen everywhere, and in the comment
Yeah,
sections of everything, people get upset way
yeah,
too easily. So I think it would be awesome if we were to just all understand that we're all different, but we're all similar because
yeah.
all of us are going through this thing called life together on the same planet.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Sports. Do you play sports? What do you do in terms of sports?
I don't really do sports. I don't exercise. I should probably start doing that.
Okay.
But I kind of just sit at my computer all day. But if I were to do a sport, I like tennis.
Oh, tennis. Yeah.
I play it sometimes, and I like baseball too.
Okay. Music. Talk to me about your music taste.
I basically listen to everything that has a fast beat.
Okay.
So, pop music. I've listened to stuff from other countries,
Okay.
J-pop, K-pop, just anything that is real. Anything fast, anything slow, anything that comes on the radio that I think is beautiful. It's basically, it's
Right, right.
basically, it's basically whatever. I have a playlist of like 800 songs, and some of it's Chinese, some of it's Japanese, some of it's really
Yeah.
fast, some of it's some of it makes me cry when I listen to it, and some of it is just violin music or soundtracks to shows that I really like. It's
Mm.
anything that makes me feel emotion and anything that is beautiful to listen to.
Are you bilingual or multilingual?
I Yeah, kind of. I take Chinese and I know a bit of Japanese, but with my Mandarin Chinese, I don't know enough to say that I'm bilingual, but I do know a lot,
Okay.
so I could hold a conversation with someone in Mandarin.
Okay. Okay. Um, Tell me something in Chinese and interpret it for me.
Okay, I've never been asked that before.
Yeah, I tell you, we're gonna have a conversation tonight.
uh, okay. Well, let's see. Well,
Yeah, I'm pulling you. Go ahead.
well, saying 我会中文 means I know Chinese.
Okay.
And then let's see. And then 我的家有五口人 means I have 5 people in my family.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't know. 你叫什么名字 means what's your name? And if you want to answer that, then you say 我叫 Sarah.
Okay, cool. Cool. That's Chinese. Is there another
Yes.
language? I just want one more, apart from English.
Uh, Japanese.
Okay, let me hear
uh,
that. That sounds
okay.
like there's a thin line though, but let me hear that.
Okay. Well, the thing about me and Japanese is that I only know a little bit of Japanese because I watch anime subtitled.
Okay.
So there is only one phrase that I know in Japanese,
All right.
and that is 我や海賊になる男だ. And that means I want to become the king of the pirates because
That sounds like
because
something that you're gonna put in your book, you know.
yeah,
Wanna-
because
yeah.
there's a main character in an anime that I really like called One Piece, and that main character says that phrase so many times that
Okay,
that
I figure.
that I'm like, oh, that phrase means I want to become the king of the pirates, because every single time the subtitle on the screen says I want to become the king of the pirates, he says
Okay,
that phrase.
interesting.
So that's all I know.
Your favorite celebrity and why
Favorite celebrity?
and why?
Uh, oh, that could mean anything. That could mean authors. That could mean musicians. That could
Right?
mean
Yeah.
actors.
Choose,
Oh,
choose the
uh,
category.
that's hard. Hmm, dang it, that's really hard. How about this? I'll say Ryan Reynolds
Why?
because he's funny. I like him.
Okay.
He's an actor, and I love him as an actor. I've watched a lot of his movies, and I like him. He's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Your favorite TV show?
I watch so many TV shows. Okay, let's see. One of my favorite TV shows is Avatar: The Last Airbender
Why?
because it's very well written. I've watched it 6 times, and it's basically my childhood show. That was one of the first things that I watched while growing up. So every time I rewatch it, it's like nostalgic for me, and
Yeah.
I love all the characters. I love it. I love the world. It's a really fun show that I can just always visit every couple years and be like, this is my rosy nostalgic childhood show.
Gilligan Island. You watched that already, right? Gilligan.
No, I've
I
heard of it
think
though.
a group of people. They were on an island that there's this they somewhat they were there and no one was able to get them off the island. They have been there for a long while, right? And and I mean, people come and people go, and they just cannot get off the island. Gilligan, perhaps you can look that up and watch that. That's something that I
Okay.
think you'd enjoy, right? Um, in saying that, if there is an island now, right, that you would love to visit, well, that that you would it would be nice for you to visit. Which island would that be?
Let's see. New Zealand. One of the two
Okay,
islands in New Zealand
why?
because um it's really beautiful there. Um there are a lot of flightless birds there
Yeah, yeah.
that I can see, a lot of cool animals, and a whole lot of fun movies have been shot there. And the scenery is just really green and really breathtaking. And that's very different from where I am, Utah, a desert, which is mountains and sagebrush. That's all we
Okay,
get.
okay. Are you vegetarian? Or are you tell me about your dieting.
Uh, my diet consists of popcorn and whatever my parents make for dinner.
Okay, okay.
I eat a lot of popcorn while I write and watch TV.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't really have any dietary restrictions,
Hmm, hmm.
vegetarian, no, like vegan allergies at all.
Yeah, yeah,
I just eat a lot of really bad stuff.
yeah.
I eat a lot of chocolate, candy, sugar.
Hmm.
Basically, I don't know how I'm alive at this point because I don't eat very much, and when I eat, it's junk, and I don't
Yeah.
exercise. So if breathing wasn't involuntary, I would be dead right now.
Hey, Sarah. I want you before we stop. I want you to talk to the young ladies, right? I mean, Canute Exploration, your topic in a podcast is all about empowering, inspiring others, and you're doing well, right? I as I said to you before, I think that you will um be a force to be reckoned with later, if you continue to do what you're doing, right? Um, talk to the young adolescent females, right? That are watching now. Talk to them. What would you say to those adolescent females through this podcast now?
I would say that try to find your passion, try to find what you're good at, and once you do, stick with it. If you really love something, then you should be able to do it, and nothing should stop you from doing what you like, doing what you love. And I've found out that it's always nice to take care of yourself and don't go too fast. Don't go too slow either. Just take life at your own pace and don't overwork yourself. When you feel anxious, when you feel depressed, just sit back and do something you love. And if you want to, then you can take up writing, because writing is amazing. I love writing. And even if you just journal for 5 minutes every single day, that is extremely helpful. If you just get all your thoughts out and and try to discover things about yourself and your flaws and your weaknesses, then you'll be able to be stronger and tackle this thing that we call life. And exercise, because I do not, and I probably should, and that's healthy for all of us to just sit back and go outside and take a walk and feel the sun on your skin. That's my advice. Just live a life that you'll be proud of and take care of yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I think those are good advice, and it's something that my audience, those who are listening on their favorite podcast platform, those who are watching should consider, right? And Sarah Humphrey, there's so much that I'm expecting from you. There's so much that we are expecting from you, and we are gonna hear much more about you soon. Thanks for coming here and Canute Exploration, your topic in a podcast. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we leave?
No, I think it's good. Thanks for having me here. I really enjoyed myself.
Nice. Thank you and goodbye. So that was Sarah Humphrey. You realize the strong personality that she has, and she is confident. She tell you about her social phobia, anxiety, and you see how she has overcome that. And you have listened to her. You have watched her in terms of her passion as it relates to the things she loves, and soon you will see a movie, that has her name somewhere written on it, as you are seeing a book, and you will be seeing more books, with her name written on it. We really enjoy having Sarah and on Canute Exploration, your topic in the podcast. And remember, we're still in a pandemic. Enjoy life, but remember to be careful and be safe. Thank you for listening.